Good afternoon, Calgary. How's everyone doing? I'm Jasraj Hallan, your Conservative candidate from the great riding of Calgary East. Thank you all for being here, joining this incredible Conservative movement, taking over the country. We have the great honor and privilege of hosting Calgary's own Pierre Poilievre for our Canada First announcement. I'm joined by some incredible Canada First Conservative candidates. Let's give them a round of applause. Burton Bailey, Tom Kamich, Stephanie Kuzy, David McKenzie, Jeremy Nixon, Greg McLean, Delwinder Gill, Blake Richards, David Bexty, Shiv Majumdar, Michelle Rempel Gardner, Amanpreet Singh Gill, and Pat Kelly. As we all know, Pierre was born and raised right here in Calgary. He went from playing street hockey to street smart really quickly. And I just wanted to share a quick story about Pierre. When he gave me the great honor of being his shadow minister for finance, after a very grueling interview, he left me with one thing at the end. He said, Jazz, this country gave my family and yours an opportunity like no other. We didn't have much, but through our hard work, we were able to succeed. And then Pierre went on to say to me that when I become Prime Minister, I want to bring that same opportunity back to Canada, where hard work will get you something and help you succeed for all Canadians. Because after this lost Liberal decade, crime is up, costs are up, our economy is down and under the thumb of the Americans. And I think you'll agree with me that the Liberals do not deserve a fourth term. It is time to put Canada first for a change. Under a new Conservative government that will axe taxes, build homes, unleash our resources, stop the crime, and bring home jobs to stand up to Trump from a position of strength. Pierre Poilievre is the only one to bring real change to Canada. So it is my great honor and my great privilege to introduce to you the only leader that will bring real change to Canada, Calgary's own Pierre Poilievre.
Something tender about it. There's something hidden about it. There's something all generations can have and can hold. We break down the walls and break out of the molds. Yeah, we fight for what's right. We're wild and we're free from the mountains above us. And all you can see is more than just a place where freedom roams. It's all It's something nostalgic about it. There's something brand new about it. Yeah, you leave and you'll miss it, then come back and kiss it. You'll travel the distance, we're so proud of it. We fight for what's right, we're wild and we're free from the mountains above us. And all you can see is more than just a place with freedom roams. It's all It's our home. Yeah, we fight for what's right. We're wild and we're free from the mountains above us. And all you can see is more than just a place where freedom roams. It's our home. There's something tender about it. There's something hidden about it. There's something all generations can have and can hold. We break down the walls and break out of the mold. Yeah, we fight for what's right. We're wild and we're free from the mountains above us. And all you can see is more than just a place where freedom roams. It's our home. It's our home. There's something nostalgic about it. There's something brand new about it. Yeah, you'll leave and you'll miss it, then come back and kiss it. You'll travel the distance, we're so proud of it. We fight for what's right, we're wild and we're free from the mountains above us. And all you can see is more than just a place where freedom roams. It's our home. It's our home. It's our home. Yeah, we fight for what's right. We're wild and we're free from the mountains above us. And all you can see is more than just a place of freedom.
Calgary, are you ready for change? Are you ready for food and homes you can actually afford for a change? Are you ready to pay some lower taxes for a change? Are you ready to lock up the criminals so that we can be safe on our streets for a change? Are you ready to unleash our resources so we can take back control of our economy for a change? Wow. It is great to be back in my hometown of Calgary. Here with... Thank you very much. Calgary's ready for a change. Here with my family, my mother, Marlene, is here. Everybody give Marlene a round of applause. My biological mother, Jackie, is in town. Great to see you, Jackie. My brother, Patrick. Countless other relatives. Yesterday in Saskatchewan, I was told there were 34 relatives that were at our rally. And here we are in the prairies again, celebrating the great Canadian promise that I lived out here growing up in this community. Memories of walking my dog in Fish Creek Park, delivering the Calgary Sun. I was a paper boy. Working at the Calgary Stampede, picking up garbage, cleaning up the canteen. The countless other amazing memories and lessons that I learned right here in Calgary. But the most important lesson of all was that this is a country where hard work gives you a great life. Where anybody, or it didn't matter if you started off at the top of the hill or the adopted son of 2 school teachers. If you worked hard, you could build an incredible future for yourself. You could become anything you wanted. That this prairie sky was the limit. And we all know that the prairie sky is the biggest sky in the world, isn't it? That was the promise of Canada. But that promise, after the lost Liberal decade, is broken. Housing costs have literally doubled. Crime, chaos, drugs, and disorder are overtaking our once safe streets. The government has attacked our biggest industries and pushed $500 billion out of our economy. And it's going to get a lot worse if, God forbid, the Liberals get a fourth term. Just today, Mark Carney went to a steel mill to announce that he wants to jack up the industrial carbon tax on steel. That's his plan. Yeah, he actually said the carbon tax on steel would be good for the steel industry. Remember, that sounds an awful lot like when Justin Trudeau told us that a carbon tax at the pumps would be good for your pocketbook. We all know that turned out to be a lie. Now Mark Carney is repeating the same lies on this and other things in order to distract Canadians from the lost Liberal decade. He not only wants to continue Trudeau's identical policies of overspending, overtaxing, and blocking our industries, his platform, which was originally written for Justin Trudeau, calls for $130 billion of additional uncosted spending, bringing the total planned debt that Liberals would add over the next 4 years to that's just his share, to $250 billion, a $250 billion more inflationary debt that would drive up the cost of living, of food, of accommodation, of living in this country. My friends, we cannot afford a fourth Liberal term. Canada needs change. 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 And it's not just about the past. It's about the future. We know the Liberals have published this document. Has anybody had a chance to have a look at this? It's called Policy Horizons. This really is the Liberal platform right here. This is what the government of Canada predicts that life will look like in 15 years if things continue on their current track. They say social mobility will be almost unheard of in Canada. People will no longer be able to get ahead through their hard work, and more likely, they will be falling behind. In 2040, owning a home is simply not realistic, they predict. They further go on to say that the economy could shrink and become even less predictable. Finally, they say that we'll be headed towards an aristocracy. That's their word, not mine, as money and wealth are concentrated in the hands of a shrinking class of privileged insiders. And it will get so bad, they say, that people will no longer be able to afford to go to a grocery store. They'll have to hunt, fish, and forage on public lands in violation of government regulations just to stay alive. My friends, this is what the Liberals say they have in store for us. I encourage every Canadian to go and read this report, Future Lives, Social Mobility in Question. Look at the section called More Snakes Than Ladders. That is not the future we need. That is not the future we will have. What we need is to bring home change and hope for every single Canadian. Bring it home. And we have a plan. And we have a plan for change. A plan that's going to reverse the lost Liberal decade, to do exactly the opposite of what we've seen over the last 10 years. First of all, it proposes to cut the Liberal deficit by 70% by eliminating 50. That's right, give that a round of applause. We are going to cut $54 billion of bureaucracy, consultants, foreign aid, and other wasteful spending to bring down the inflationary deficits. We'll put that money back in your pockets. We believe that hard work should actually pay off. You shouldn't be punished for the crime of working hard. You should have reward for putting in those long hours, for helping your family. Right now we have something, it's a fine for the crime of hard work. Who would like a copy of the platform? I'm going to give a copy to this guy right here. There you go. The crime of hard work is punished with high liberal taxes that increasingly eat away at your paycheck. In fact, today, after a lost liberal decade, Canadians spend more money on taxes than on food, clothing, and shelter combined. You know, income tax is the crime you pay, is the tax you pay, the fine you pay for the crime of working hard. We can no longer afford these taxes, and that's why Conservatives will cut your income tax by 15% so hard work pays off for a change. But we won't stop there. Our plan will cut taxes on energy. We know that energy powers our economy. The Liberal carbon tax has crippled us over the last several years. We know that Mr. Carney says the tax should go up on industry, and we know they'll put it back at the pumps the day after the next election if, God forbid, they get a fourth term. Not Conservatives. We know that energy is necessary, energy abundance, energy wealth, and that is why Conservatives will axe the entire carbon tax for everyone, for real, for a change. And then we'll cut taxes on cars. The Liberals don't believe you should be able to drive a gas or diesel-powered automobile. So they've come up with this plan. I call it the Carney tax. The first syllable says it all. They want to tax any automobile powered by gas or diesel that goes above their preset and ever-declining quota. So their goal is to beginning next year to begin banning the sale of gas and diesel powered vehicles. Anybody live out in the country? Yeah. Can you survive out in Lloydminster or Fort Mac or Carstairs, driving out to the farm in an electric car in minus 40-degree weather in February? Well, Mr. Carney believes that you have to. His plan would put a $20,000 car tax on any diesel and gas-powered vehicles that go above his preset quota, a quota that will decline every year until 2035, when he says these cars will be banned altogether. Conservatives will axe the Carney tax. We will put you back in the driver's seat and let you decide what car to drive. For a change. Not only that, but we want to bring home automobile construction here to Canada. We will axe the federal sales tax on vehicles made in Canada. But we're done. We are going to bring it home. Who's this guy? He's very excited. What are you so excited about? He's excited about an economy that works for people like him. I agree with him on that. But we're not done there. We need housing that people can afford for a change. Canada, yes, you want a house, don't you? Are you living with your mom? No. They want to have more space. Her and her partner want a little more space. There's a nice young lady there who you live with your mom. Wait, you want to have your own house? Amazing. Well, we've got a plan to make that happen. We're going to axe the federal sales tax on new homes. We will incentivize municipalities to speed up permits, free up land, and cut their development charges. The goal is to take $100,000 of taxes off a home to save you money on your purchase, and to speed up the permitting, sell off enough federal land, and train up enough young apprentices so that we can build 2.3 million more homes that our people can afford for a change. And we need the people who live in those homes to have powerful paychecks again. And that is why we're going to unleash a boom in our resource sector like we've never seen before. All in all, we will reverse all of the anti-energy liberal policies that have been brought in with the support and continued backing of Mark Carney. These laws need to go so that we can quickly get our resources out of the ground and off to market. Mark Carney says he wants to keep 50% of Canada's oil in the ground. He says he will keep Liberal Bill C-69 and the energy cap. Nothing will ever get built, nothing will change with a fourth Liberal term. Only Conservatives will bring real change. We will repeal the no development law, C-69, the energy cap, the industrial carbon tax. We will approve pipelines for a change. We will build pipelines and LNG export plants. We'll take the 1,300 trillion cubic feet of natural gas that we have right beneath our feet. We'll pump it to both coasts. We'll send it to Quebec and to the East Coast. We'll send it to the West Coast so our coastal First Nations can develop those resources. My friends, we have incredible advantages here. Do you know how long it takes to ship gas from the Canadian Pacific Coast to Asia? 11 days. Smart guy. Smart guy. How did you know that? You ever done it? He watches my videos. That's why he's so informed. Smart guy. How long does it take to ship from the U.S. Gulf Coast? 20 days, almost twice as long. So how is it they're able to ship their gas to market and we're not? Furthermore, you think it's more expensive to liquefy gas here where it's nice and cold and the weather does 25% of the job for you, or in the States where it's burning hot? It's cheaper here in Canada. We've got the clean hydroelectricity. We can liquefy that gas by turning it down to minus 161 degrees Celsius, putting it on a ship to Asia to break Asian dependence on dirty coal, send it off to Europe to break European dependence on Putin, and turn dollars for dictators into paychecks for our people for a change. We will build the Canadian pipelines with Canadian energy and Canadian steel, benefiting Canadian workers. This will allow us to go around the Americans, being less dependent on them and more focused on taking care of our own people. That's what it means to put Canada first, after all, isn't it? I think we've got a flyover. I arranged a flyover here, everybody. You can hear that in the background. Also powered with fossil fuels, right? We're not going to give Carney any ideas. He's going to ban fossil fuels from aircraft. I don't think that would fly. Quite literally. You know, we're also going to stand up for Western Canada. Albertans, people of the prairies, and all across the West deserve to be a fair and full part of our country for a change. We want this to be a country that is united. We also want it to be a nation that is safe. After the lost Liberal decade of catch and release criminal justice, we see more and more criminals turned loose on our streets, able to reoffend, tear apart our communities, commit one offense after another, being released often within minutes of their latest arrest. It starts with Liberal Law C-75, catch and release bail, that requires judges to release offenders at, quote, the earliest opportunity under the least onerous conditions. In Vancouver, they had to arrest the same 40 offenders 6,000 times because they were released. So that each one of them committed 150 crimes in a year. In a year. You got to be working at it full time to get arrested 150 times in 365 days. And yet we keep turning them loose again and again. And if it isn't catch and release bail, it's house arrest. So the same repeat offenders who steal the cars and attack our people can do the sentences in the comfort of their living room, watching Netflix or playing Grand Theft Auto, only to walk out on the streets to reoffend again. And then there's the get out of jail free card for Paul Bernardo, C-83, that allows this mass murderer and others like him to serve their sentences, not in a maximum security penitentiary, but in a medium pen, where they are a risk to prison guards and support staff. My friends, the era of catch and release liberal chaos is coming to an end. We need change. Our plan will repeal these catch and release laws. Catch and release bail, C-75, gone. House arrest, C-5, gone. Get out of jail free card for Paul Bernardo, gone. We will pass the 3 strikes and you're outlaw. 3 violent offenses and you never again have chance for bail, parole, probation, or house arrest. It'll be 10 years minimum in a slammer, as long as a life sentence, and you don't get out unless you have perfect behavior, clean drug tests, and you learn an employable skill. We will stop the crime for a change. And that change will go even further. Multiple murderers who now get bulk discounts. Today, because of a unfortunate Supreme Court ruling that the Liberals supported, multiple murderers are able to get a discount. They only serve one 25-year sentence guaranteed, even if they killed 7 or 8 people. One guy killed 6 people in Quebec, and he was the subject of this ruling. He only gets a guaranteed sentence of 25 years. That means only 4 years of prison time for each person he killed. How is it that a human life for an innocent person is only worth 4 years for a guilty person? This does not make sense, my friends, and I will put an end to this chaos. I will use the notwithstanding clause to lock up multiple murderers until they die. After the lost Liberal decade of skyrocketing crime and chaos, the choice is very simple. Do you want to continue to turn criminals loose on our streets by giving the Liberals a 4th term? Or do you want to lock up the criminals, secure the borders, and bring home safety for a change? That is the decision. And then there's the drugs. Fentanyl, meth, and countless other drugs have increasingly victimized decent, honorable people who had fallen on hard times or into with the wrong crowd. Maybe they were just out for one night of drinking when they were tempted to take something they normally would not take. And then their whole lives changed. We've lost 50,000 people to drug overdoses. More people have died of drug overdoses in the last 10 years under the Liberals than died fighting for Canada in the Second World War. And this tragedy is only getting worse as the government liberalizes laws, reduces penalties for mass marketers of this poison, and gives out tax-funded opioids under the false name of safe supply. There's nothing safe about it. Our borders are open for drugs to come in through the 99% of shipping containers that don't get inspected at all. My friends, we are going to stop the drugs. We will ban hard drugs, bring in life sentences for mass marketers of fentanyl. We will secure the borders with high-powered scanners of shipping containers and 2,000 more frontline CBSA officers. And we will go further. We will cut off the taxpayer-funded drugs and we will put the money into treatment and recovery so that we can bring our loved ones home drug-free. Incredible programs will give counseling, group therapy, detox, physical exercise, yoga, and countless other interventions that help people fix their bodies, cleanse their souls, and start all over again. When I was at Harvest House in Moncton the other day, I was meeting with a group of young people who were getting off drugs in rehab. And they said, you know, thank you for all your help. And I said, I'm not the one offering help. I didn't come here to offer help. I came here to ask you for help. I need you. I need you to get better, because you're going to get out of this place. You're going to go onto the street and grab someone else off the street corner. You're going to drag them in here. They're going to get better. Then they're going to go back out on the street, and they're going to pull another person in. And that cycle of hope is going to help us to defeat this terrible scourge. So have hope. Hang on. Help is on the way. A better day is coming for our people. We're going to save 50,000 lives across this country through treatment and recovery services. Lives that will turn around and give people a chance at a better life. What do you think, Mr. Gill? What do you think? You think it's time that we stop the crime? Come on over here. Which riding are you running in again? It's Skyview. What, you think it's time to stop the crime?
Of course, it is a time to stop the crime. It's been the last 10 years since we have seen the roads are not safe for Calgarians, for throughout all Canada. Let's get rid of C55 and C5. We need strong.
Bring home safety. There you go. Bring home safety for a change. Are you hearing the same thing? You hearing the same thing? What are you hearing in your riding? Are people tired of paying high taxes and facing more and more crime? Come on up.
That's right. Yeah, I'm in the real estate for the last few years, and I have seen many problems for the people listening for the house affordability. The homes are not affordable. They're paying more for the groceries, so it's very difficult to buy like a groceries, homes, and living lots of crime. We need to stop the crime. Yeah.
We're going to stop the crime with this incredible Conservative team. Dalwinder Gill, Amanpreet Singh Gill, strong voices for Calgary. You are going to have an incredible team delivering change on Parliament Hill. For a change, Burton Bailey, Tom Kimmich, Stephanie Kuzi, David McKenzie, Jeremy Nixon, Greg McLean, Blake Richard, David Bexty, Jasraj Singh, Hallan, Shuv Majumdar, Michelle Rempel-Garner, and Pat Kelly. Bring it home for the change team from Calgary. Now, oh, I've got bad news. I've got some bad news and some good news. It's just bad news for the politicians here. It's good news for everybody else. I made a little announcement today. Did you catch it? Did you make some adjustments to your plans? So here's the plan, my friends. We can't wait for change. So I've announced that we're going to have 100 days of change. We are going to pass 3 major bills in the first 100 days. Here's what they are. There's the Affordability for a Change Act, which will cut taxes, bureaucracy, and spending. There is the Safety for a Change Act, which will crack down on crime and drugs. And there's the Bring It Home Our Jobs for a Change Act, which will repeal the anti-energy laws and cut taxes on investment. We want all of these things passed within 100 days. 100 days of change. That's the good news. The bad news for the politicians is I've said that I'm canceling the summer vacation on Parliament Hill until all these bills are passed. Canadians need change more than politicians need vacations. You agree with that? So all the politicians, you can go sell golf clubs on eBay. Get rid of your little cottage, your cabin. You're not going to be using it this summer. You can rent it out to a deserving family that needs a break. What other plans are you canceling? Shuv, what were you going to do? Yeah, he didn't have any other plans than to work. That's the kind of guy we need in Parliament. On a annoncé qu'on a besoin de 100 jours de changement pour les Canadiens. Dans les 100 premiers jours, on va adopter la loi abordabilité pour faire changement, pour couper les taxes, les déficits et la bureaucratie pour faire changement. On va adopter la loi sécurité pour faire changement, qui va mettre les criminels en prison et protéger nos frontières. Et on va adopter le ramener nos emplois chez nous, loi, et on va le faire dans 100 jours. Pas d'adoption de ces lois, pas de vacances pour les politiciens. On va travailler tout l'été pour ramener le changement chez nous. C'est ça qu'on va faire. We know now more than ever, we need hope in this country. We need hope after all these desperate years. People have been clinging and holding on by a thread, trying to feed their families, hoping that better days are coming, hoping that they'll be able to afford their lives and build their dreams, hoping that they can grow their businesses and hire more people, hoping that our country can once again be united and safe. We know that hope can only exist with change. And hope and change are the two ingredients that are propelling me forward through these next few days. But the only way we're going to get change is if you vote. Have you all voted yet? Are you going to go out and drag your friends and family to vote for a change? Are you going to reach out to all the people who may have given up on life and tell them that there's hope if they vote for a change? We need the biggest voter turnout in Canadian history to deliver the change that Canadians need. Politics is not a spectator sport. The old saying is, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. So you got to get out and vote. You've got to spread the message now in these final critical days that change is on the way and that hope only comes with a vote. And so that is my message to those people who may be giving up out there, to the senior who's at home choosing between eating and heating. I'm here to say hope is on the way, change is on the way. To the single mother who goes to bed with her fridge empty, her bank account empty, and her stomach empty, my message to her is that hope and change are on the way for you too. For the person living on the street, desperately addicted to drugs, unable to find help, thinking of giving up on life, my message to you is hope and change are on the way. We are going to save your life. To the young man I met working in a warehouse in Toronto not so long ago, who said he feels ashamed because he works nonstop and has no time for his family and no dreams of buying them a home. I want you to not only know that hope and change are on the way, but that your kids are going to grow up to know that their dad was a hero and that he sacrificed everything for them. To the soldiers, sailors, and airmen who feel left behind by a government that is underfunded and mismanaged our military, I want you to know that Canadians back you, and hope and change are on the way to rebuild our forces. To the veterans mistreated by the Ottawa bureaucracy, the veterans for whom we are so grateful, the veterans, hope and change are on the way for you too, my friend. Thank you for your service. to another veteran. We have veterans here. Everybody up, give it up for the veterans in this room. Hope and change are necessary to bring our country forward and to restore the Canadian promise. The promise that was made to me as a small child growing up in this city. A promise that was made to every single person born here or who arrived here. That anyone from anywhere can achieve anything. That hard work gets you a beautiful life and an affordable home in a safe street, protected by brave police and soldiers under a proud Canadian flag. We need change, my friends. Let's bring it home. Something